Hi everyone. Today we are introducing our project on telco customer churn. Our analysis aims to provide business owners and data analysts with a clear understanding of the metrics indicating client departures as well as strategies to adapt in order to retain the clients. Firstly, it's important to understand that returning an existing customer is significantly more cost effective than acquiring a new one. Each customer lost not only affects immediate revenue, but also adds marketing and acquisition costs to replace them. This makes churn not just a number, but a direct reflection of customers' dissatisfaction and met needs or potential weakness in our service model. What are some potential reasons customers might feel dissatisfied? Which metrics show the customer is going to departure? This understanding is crucial as we move forward in our discussion. So let's continue to data sets we'll be using in our analysis. Here is the data sets we used in this project, which is the telco customer churn dataset. It includes over 7,000 customer records and 49 attributes from the Hugging Face data website. This dataset highlights the target variable, the churn, which identifies whether a customer has discontinued the telecom services. Here is some methods and assumptions we have through our analysis. In this project, we applied exploratory data analysis and visualizations to understand churn patterns. We used correlation matrices for numerical features and compared the churn rates across categorical factors like contract type and payment method. Visualizations were created with Plot9, Matplot, and Seaborn, along with a churn storyboard and a brief geographic analysis to explore potential regional influences. We assume all customers act independently and that the dataset is clear, clean, reliable. The churn is treated as a binary outcome, and the customer behavior is assumed stable over time without drift. To begin our report with a conclusion and some suggestions to the audience, our findings show the customer churn is not random, it's predictable and preventable. By improving early satisfaction, simplifying payments, and rewarding loyalty, companies can return at-risk users into long-term advocates. So here we start our report, and our very first step is to see which variables matter the most in churn rate. Here is a correlation analysis show that the customer satisfaction, the tenure, and the churn score are the strongest predictors of churn, where the contract type, dependence, and revenue levels also play an important role in this topic. Here is our overall churn distributions. We can see from the picture about 25% of customers churned, where the retention dominates but the churn remains a significant risk. And here's some visualizations to show the churn by important variables. The first is the churn rate by contract type. Customers on month-to-month contracts have the highest churn rate, while the 1 year and 2 year contracts greatly reduce the likelihood of leaving. And the customers using manual payment methods showed a slightly high churn rates where the credit card and automatic payment users tend to stay longer, suggesting the payment convenience and the automation contribute to customer retention. Here are also some important variables, the dependence and the revenue level. Customers without dependence churn much more frequently than those with dependence, suggesting that family or multi-member accounts are more stable and loyal. On the right shows low revenue customers churn the most, where the high revenue segments show significantly high retention, confirming that the customer value and the tenure strongly correlated with loyalty. So based on previous EDA and visualizations, we want to summarize here for our audience. We have uncovered clear business drivers behind the customer churn. The contract flexibility, the payment convenience, and the relationship value strongly influence retention. So if you are operating a business like Telco, we recommend you focusing on more flexible plans, seamless payment experiences, and proactive engagement to build lasting customer loyalty. So after the EDA, let's dive deeper into the story behind the churn, uncovering how customers' journey unfold and what really drives them to stay or leave. In this picture, we try to draw a churn path story for all the customers through different period. The funnel visualization helps us understand the paths that customers take before the churning. We can see that over half customers are short-term users. Among them, nearly two-thirds report low satisfaction, and about two-thirds of who show low satisfaction eventually churn. So the takeaway here is that improving early engagement and customer satisfaction should be a top priority, especially for short-term contracts. Here is a life cycle cohort analysis. We focus on the tenure and the contract type. In this picture, that shows early stage customers from 6 months experience the highest churn, especially those on month-to-month contracts where the churn exceeds over 50%. As tenure extends beyond 24 months, the churn rate dropped steadily. Customers on 1 or 2 years contracts maintaining significantly low churn across all the tenure ranges, confirming that the contract length mitigates the churn risk, regardless of how long customers have been with the company. After about 48 months, the churn stabilized at a very low level for all contract types, indicating that once users pass the initial risk period, they are highly likely to remain. And here is a further and deeper research in the geographic part.
In this section, we analyze correlation between customer churn and different variables, mainly geography. The strongest factor among all is obviously satisfaction rate, which has a correlation of negative 0.75 with churn. Dissatisfied customers are more likely to churn, so this is kind of obvious. We also found that city churn rate has a positive correlation of 0.44, showing regional churn patterns, but features like longitude and latitude are almost uncorrelated, meaning location itself does not explain churn. Overall customer experience and local market context matter far more than geography. We then map churn and retained customer by longitude and latitude. The result, no visible geographical clusters. Churn and retained customers are spread evenly, confirming that exact location isn't predictive. However, once data is aggregated with city, patterns start to appear. Some cities have higher churn than others. So churn isn't about where someone lives, but about shared local conditions like competition and service quality. Um, To deepen our analysis, we engineered new features. The first number of services used combines all the service flags into one count. We found a clear trend. Customers with more services churn far less, uh, around 45% of uh, around 45% for three services, but 5% for 10. Um, the second charge per 10 hours that we created, it did not give us any meaningful insight. So we kind of ignored that. Um, Now these are the findings from the new features, like I mentioned, combining all the services into account and then um, relating it to how it affects churn. The single most important thing, the most important takeaway is that churn is driven by experience, not geography. Dissatisfaction, high pricing, and low engagement cause churn. Satisfied service customers are most loyal. To reduce churn, the company should focus on customer experience, fair pricing, and bundling offers seems to be a very important factor as well, which was kind of we have not thought about that when we first looked at the data, but creating new features kind of showed us this that bundling offers is one of the most important features as well. The coolest part about the project was discovering that behavior explains churn better than geography. Creating new features turned simple data into real story about satisfaction and loyalty, proving that loyalty is built, not inherited. It showed how data storytelling can turn numbers into insights and insights into action.